The Harry Potter games for GameCube are awesome. If you are a Harry Potter video game fan, you must have noticed that the old games have a different vibe than the new ones. I mean, in those older games you get to do some extreme stuff, such dangerous that you wouldn't see even in a 3 Wizard Cup task. Harry beats up big creatures like huge stone gargoyles, so that when you get, for example, to the snake at the end of Chamber of Secrets, it doesn't seem the same big of a deal. I mean, Harry has already done some dangerous stuff beforehand too. And this exaggerated action is what gives the older games the charm. You platform and use spells, and it feels great. You don't even care that the games are not accurate to the books. At least for me, who grew up with these games, it wasn't bothersome. And it wasn't inconvenient or irritating that they are not accurate to the story. Well, they are accurate in the main key events of the story, but that accuracy is pretty loose to allow more action in the game. Also, the gameplay is varied. You get different classes to attend, where you are thrown into a pit or other dangerous places, and you also get Quidditch matches. The controls are nicely mapped, and the nice feature about it is that Harry jumps automatically, which makes things easier. And another nice thing about the game is that you get free roam. You get to roam a castle, because calling it Hogwarts would be a little too much. I mean, some locations can be recognized right away, but other ones are just inventions. So you get a castle called Hogwarts to roam, not the Hogwarts from the books or movies, but another place, that looks good and cozy too. Also a bummer is that even though you can free roam, aside from the tasks you are given, there is nothing much to do in the castle. And now, a fun fact. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was released first, and then Philosopher's or Sorcerer's Stone was released. And it's interesting that even though the castle is similar in the first two games, in Prisoner of Azkaban, it's a whole different castle. All versions look nice, but I just want to point out that this is the period in which the clear image of the castle wasn't present in video games. Okay, so the first 3 games I presented you in general, as they are pretty similar. I mean, there are many differences in story, in looks, but the main game formula is the same. So I could just talk about them in general, to save time and not bother you with too many details. And something nice about Prisoner of Azkaban is that you can see a big leap, both in gameplay and in graphics. I mean, the animations and looks of the game in general are wow, especially when Hermione runs and her hair moves. And the levels get even more extreme, and the trio becomes more skilled in casting magic. Also, you don't play only with Harry, but with Ron and Hermione too, and sometimes with Hedwig. Next up is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This one doesn't have free roam. You start levels from Dumbledore's Pensieve, and in each level you have to collect 3 wizard shields in order to unlock more levels. Also, you play most levels in a trio. Ron and Hermione accompany Harry into most levels, and help him out, as throughout the levels there are puzzles that can be solved only when all 3 cast a spell. An annoying thing is that the AI is not always the brightest, and many times your friends get in the way or they just stand beside, not interacting. And you need all 3 of them in some places to cast the spell for it to work. Also, you can select with whom you want to play from the 3 at the beginning of each level. Also, a nice thing in the game is that you fight a big variety of creatures, like Earthlings, Grindylows, Blast-Handed Shrews, or the Hungarian Horntail Dragon. But one enemy will annoy you, and that's Duckbox. As for controls, they are nicely mapped. You have an Accio button to attract pins, a Jinx button for the annoying Duckbox and other threats, and a spell button. Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup is a game I'm really happy EA made. I mean, it's like FIFA for wizards. And the game is awesome. First off, you play in all Quidditch positions. So not just as a seeker like in the Harry Potter games. No. By all, I mean that you get to play with every player on the field. And another awesome thing is that not only that you can play with the houses of Hogwarts, but you get into worldwide championships too. The game also has different weather scenarios, so you can play on a sunny day or in the snow. And by collecting wizard cards, you can unlock new moves to make winning flashier. And the game has multiplayer too. The controls are nice, and you get into really playing every position, from the keeper to the chaser, everyone. And at the end of the match, you play as the seeker to put an end to the game and win the big points for your team. The next two games, Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, are part of the newer generation of games, where you have an accurate representation of Hogwarts. The action is not as extreme anymore, it's more realistic and closer to the books, and it hangs more tight to the story of the books. It's a joy to roam Hogwarts, but in the Order of Phoenix, if you want to pass, you will need the internet by your side, as many tasks have words and locations you never heard of if you are not a Harry Potter fan. And even if you are a fan, you'll most probably still need the internet walkthrough to find, for example, all the gargoyles scattered throughout Hogwarts, which is a mandatory task if you want to progress in the game. But Half-Blood Prince, on the other hand, even though it puts you through tasks too, they are easier for those who are not fans of the series. And it's more action-packed, and it has less loading times too. But you can see that it's a PS3 game downscaled to PS2, as the game is slowish many times, and just look at the game and then look at the PS3 version. But even so, they are incredible games that I really recommend you try. And aside the other ones, because all Harry Potter games for the Sony PS2 are awesome. Just try them out, along with the other Harry Potter games, because these games are incredible. I mean, I grew up with these games, so I cannot not love them. And with each game you can see an evolution, not only in graphics, but in gameplay too. I mean, each game is unique, they are not repetitive. Because you can see that the older games had a different style from the new ones, and each style is awesome. I mean, the Harry Potter franchise is pretty varied in terms of gameplay styles, and I love it. Okay, so this was the video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you want, follow me on Twitch, Instagram or Discord. You have the links to those accounts in the video description. Thank you.